Welcome to the prepping series. This is a new video, and yeah, today we're going to continue on the prepping path and see what comes up next in the risk assessment. I hope you enjoy this series. If you do, comment, like, subscribe, and hope to see you again and hope to hear from you. And let's get back to the video. Thank you.
Okay, so today we're gonna do a little bit of, I think it's gonna be a little bit longer one. Maybe we can do two, but I'm expecting to do just the one. And the reason why is I think this is a very likely one to happen, and therefore I think it's also quite dangerous for it to happen. Okay, so let's go into it. Risk number 9 is a simultaneously an event where simultaneously the water is polluted and the power outage is active for a numerous amount of days. So for example, the power is out and therefore surely but surely systems are starting to shut down, like water filtration systems, etc., etc. So might be due to a big lightning storm, or something like that, that some electrical power lines went out into an industrial area, that in a residential area where now people don't have power, they can charge their cars, they cannot cook, and all those things. And then on top of that, the water is now starting to pollute and you cannot drink the water, so you need to find alternative sources for boiling, etc. Previously, in a previous video, I already mentioned that apparently hackers are targeting these types of systems, and they are actually inside of a lot of these systems already. They haven't done anything, but they are apparently inside such systems. So this is, in my opinion, a serious threat, and it is also a threat that is it is exaggerated by them working or falling or coinciding, I should say. Okay, so well, obviously the first one is poor maintenance, and poor maintenance can also be software maintenance, firewalls, and so on. Yeah, so poor maintenance, stuff can break, but also stuff can be hacked, or if it's vulnerable. Then a prolonged power issue. If there's a prolonged power issue, as I mentioned, then the water quality might deteriorate, or the pump shut down and the filtration shut down, and therefore the water is scarcer, and the water that we have might be polluted. And there might be then, of course, unrest, strikes, or stuff like that happening, because people are desperate or angry, or and then obviously on top of that, if it's due to a big storm, the weather might continue or might return, and it all together might be like a perfect storm, literally and figuratively, that causes issues. And what is the potential effect of or consequence of this? Well, it might be that people are injured, and people might potentially die because they cannot get the right medicine, or they are getting sick due to the water. Again, I mentioned that we need to cook on electricity these days, so most of the households in the Netherlands cook on electricity. So if there's no electricity, do you have a barbecue, or do you have like a camping stove or something like that you can do on a gas bottle? And is there gas available to cook on, or do you have wood or stuff to actually make fires with? Then if the electricity is out, like we see in South Africa, a lot of the time there's no, in South Africa we call them robots, but there's no lights, traffic lights, and if the traffic lights are out, then what are you going to do? You might get accidents, and you might have poor visibility, and so on and so forth. Then for the kids these days, no internet, no TV. Jeez, all your video games, all your friends, oh no, your world's really gonna end. So sorry. Okay, a minute of silence, that was okay. Anyway, cash withdrawals, you have to pay. One of the things that is important in survival is that you have cash money. And so if you don't have cash money, what are you going to do? If you cannot pay because the banking apps are down, the internet is down, the cashier, the withdrawal places are down or not stocked up. How are you going to get fuel? How are you going to get food? Hospitals might be overfilled. So yeah, also that emergency rooms and so on, and yeah, they still need to get fuel and those types of things. But yeah, a lot of cars in the Netherlands are electric. If there's no power, how are you going to charge your car? So people will then have to, how do you work from home then in that case? Or you have to go by bicycle, but I mean, a lot of people in the Netherlands work quite far away. You're not going to cycle 50 kilometers or 40 miles to your job. Or at least most sane people won't do that. And logistics will then be very limited. Trucks and just centers like for the mail and other stuff. If there's no power, how do you sort through your mail? How do you prepare packages? How do you stamp them and ship them out to the right locations? So it's a big deal. So power-wise, for prolonged, and we're talking at least a week to 2 weeks, no power, and that will deteriorate everything. No power means no internet. How many systems are cloud-based or run on internet? So that's a big issue. So, for example, it might be that several things are hacked and continue to be hacked, and they decide, okay, we're going to shut the power down so that nobody can enter or exit. Potentially, it might be something like that. But then, in that case, what do you need? What do you need to survive? This, I think, is one of the most realistic scenarios for the entire world, basically, where, through a hack or through something, simultaneously the water is polluted and the power is out for a serious amount of time. So let's say at least 2 weeks. And I think that will bring a lot of chaos. If that happens, it will be chaos. Because everything we know today isn't working anymore, no internet. And as I said, for kids, I mean, generally speaking, well, my kids are not yet of that age, but I mean, as my son is playing video games, he plays them online. He doesn't play them, like we used to do, where he puts a drive in. But yeah, I mean, the computer cannot even turn on because, there's no electricity. So, they have to, they like to draw and they like to do a puzzle or play a game. So, for an hour or two, we can keep them busy. But I mean, they really like their television and their computer stuff. So yeah, okay. Anyway, the point then is it realistic? The likelihood. I think it is likely that it will happen within the foreseeable future, because of all the reasons I already mentioned. And then the severity. I think the severity can be significant. And then as you remember, maybe the amount I stated was 100,000 euros for this, and it might be much higher. So I have set it here at severity 4, but I think severity 5. If you not look at yourself, but if you look at let's say the global scale, it's obviously easily a 5. But for yourself, and obviously again that depends on a lot of different things, but so I put it at a 4 because I'm looking at it from my perspective. Okay. Then design controls. Well, the first thing is try to follow the news. But yeah, with no power, no internet, how are you going to follow the news? Well, one of the first things then is to have a portable radio. So have a portable radio so you can at least get the news. And then, I have one where you can crank it up so that if you crank it, it has power. Have at least a couple of flashlights, have a couple of candles, have batteries, maybe a transformer or a generator. Have an alternative cooking method like a barbecue or something else, then obviously have bottled water and have other water supplies and have water cleaning agents like live straw, for example. Have cash, as I mentioned. Toilet paper is also very important. Food is very important. And again, so for example, we are with 4 people in the household, so make sure that you have enough calories for 4 people. And obviously, if it's a couple of days, then losing a little bit of weight is fine. But I mean, to keep your brain going, you need a serious amount of food, especially if it's more than 2 weeks. And if you don't have cash, then you might get into serious issues. In our case, we might start to eat our chickens, for example, instead of waiting for the eggs. Who knows? Critical stock, as I mentioned: toilet paper, food, water for your family, including pets. Pets is also a thing. And then you have power banks, solar charged power banks, preferably, as I mentioned, the radio, but also just a regular power bank for your phone. Generally speaking, I believe a power bank can charge a regular phone about 5 times. So yeah, it's almost a week full. And I mean, if there's no video games and so on to play because there's no internet, then obviously your phone will last quite a bit longer. Okay. Then for the environmental note, with the power grid getting overpopulated, that's also a thing. More people, more load, solar panels, electric cars charging, more factories, more machines, bigger and heavier machines. So the overloading of the grid could potentially be a severe issue where the grid just shuts down, where big transformers, for example, are overloaded and crash. So this, I think, is a very likely scenario in the upcoming years. And so it starts obviously with electricity, I think, and then water pollution and other critical systems fail, in combination with the internet being down, potentially or most likely. It's gonna be difficult, and based on this, I think power banks, batteries, lights, and alternative food methods, cash, is a couple of very important things to keep in mind and to have available. So I'm going to leave it at this because the video is already long enough. So thank you for watching, and I hope this one was interesting. I think this is the big one, or the most likely one maybe. I hope you have enjoyed it and maybe learned something from it. And so if you want to add something, write a comment or leave a like, so that I know that you understand what we're doing and that you like it and that you learned something from it. And obviously your area might be completely different to my area, and you might already be prepared. So let me know, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.